What's up guys, King Red Wolf here, and in this video we will be building a hospital. But before we get to that, we're going to be building a treasury up in the room where it had nothing in it. So basically, what we're going to do is, since there's no money in this game, or there's no like piles of money or anything, I'm just going to use gold and diamonds. And so, take the gold, and I just do like a nice bubble organic shape, and then add one on top like this. You see it, but I have some that are not have things on top of it, so it looks like more of a pile. Then I do the same with diamonds. I try to mirror it. I get it wrong, but then I fix it. But it, it's okay, because Minecraft, you can literally do one click and everything's fixed. But in real life, that's not the case. But in Minecraft, you can make really cool builds, and you can test out stuff, and then if it doesn't work, you can make it work. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing smaller piles on either side, opposite of what their actual one is. So this is just like a small what's it called, treasury room, so that because that was commented. So if you want something that you have, or a building that you want to be built, I'm sorry, if you want something that you built if you want something that you commented built, just put it down in the comments so that I can see it and I can build it. So someone commented a hospital, so that's what I'm going to be building now. So I just laid out the outline of this, and then I'm going to just add the floor in, count to the side so I can see where I want the stairs to be to get inside of it, because I don't like my buildings just to be directly on the ground for some reason. I think it doesn't look as good. So, adding some nice little steps up. Only one this time, because last time it was two, but there's only one this time. Now I'm just adding in the floor so that it can be more indoor looking instead of grass. So for the hospital, there's not going to be texture, because it's going to be a new building, a clean building. Like for hospitals, you really want them to look clean. Like, unlike the other one, I know I made like a big deal in the last video about having a lot of texture in your builds, but not all builds like need texture. Like I said in the last video, I made it have texture because I want it to look a little like 10 to 12 years old. This one, even though it should be around, like, if realistically it should be around the same time built as the town hall, I want it to look cleaner, because it needs to have like a hospital vibe to it. So I just had an outline. The red pillar is you can see how I'm building it right now. It's this shape. It's a window. And on a lot of modern houses that I build in Minecraft, I have it in them. So it's really good. It adds a lot more light in, and it looks cool from the outside. I don't know why I added it here, but it ended up looking nice, so I like it. Now I'm just adding the wall to the background. This is going to be a long time lapse because there's a lot of wall, but I think it turned out pretty well. So I'm just going through, filling it up with wall. You see, I'm not texturing it at all, because it is not a build that needs to be textured. Like when I give tips, or when it doesn't mean follow what I say exactly. It's just like a suggestion. Also, if you have any cool building tips that you want to share, just put it down in the comments, and we can look at it and read it, and I might even try it out in a video. So right here, I did a three wide doorway, even though there's not any such thing as a 3 wide doorway in Minecraft. I'm just have it open, so because it looks nicer, and then I just use glass to kind of put it together, kind of make it look more like an actual doorway. So resetting the time, I try to do daylight cycle off, but it didn't really work for me, so I'm just have to do it. You see me do it a couple times. Then I add a nice little hospital cross. This is what the front's gonna look like at the end. I didn't really add a lot to it. Probably could have added windows, but I decided not to, because from the inside it looked good, and you don't really want windows to your operation room. So I decided just not to have windows in the hospital. So when we're talking about hospital, this is more like a center. So if there's like a like a bus crashes or something, or there's like a lot of patients at once, this is what they're gonna go in, because there's, as you'll see later, there's five operation rooms, so 5 people can be operated on at once, and then there's a bunch of there's a bunch of beds for people in recovery, so you can have like 40 people all get injured within a good amount of time, close to each other, and then they all can be dealt with pretty quickly by this hospital in all regards to what type of injury they have. So it's just pretty good, pretty good looking in my opinion. It's very minimalistic, but I think that works for the hospital. I did also have some, you know, images that I want it to kind of look like. I copied exactly like him, and I didn't really end up using the images pretty much at all. I just used it from like in people's mind what hospitals look like, and what hospitals look like in my mind. So that's just me once again. The weather cycle didn't work, so I had to do um slash weather cycle slash weather clear. Now this is me for the other town. I wanted a mayor. There's two types of villagers. There's male and female. I put it in a dispenser because it's random, and it launched out a female egg. So our mayor's gonna be a female. I don't have a name for her. So in the comments, if you have a cool name that you want to share, type it down in the comments, and and then I will rename our mayor to that idea. So now going back to the wall, I did it because I want a little break, and also you can see our mayor in the window. So that's kind of cool, her walking around. But so then I have to go to the ceiling. It gets really dark, but we knew that's happened when you add a ceiling to a building without light sources inside of it. So this building is very good. I recorded this video differently than the other video. So the other video was supposed to be more of a from my perspective instead of a voiceover, but it didn't really work because the audio messed up. So I had to do a voiceover for you to have any audio to listen to. But yeah, so this is what it looks like when the shell is completed. So I think it looks pretty good. Not the best looking building in the world, but it really suits the build. Now I'm just adding floors. I only add the outline of the floor, and then I add some lights into them, and these little spots that I'm adding in the corners so that I can actually see inside. So that's me going to lights. Again, with this with Mr. Crayfish's furniture mom, to turn on the light, you need to have a hammer. So I'm just going through, putting the lights down and smashing them with hammers. It doesn't really make sense because you don't turn on light bulbs by smashing them with hammers, but that's just a funny thing that happens in this mod. If you want to know how I make the mod pack and how you can get your hands on all these cool mods that make you have awesome decorations, I will comment it down and I'll see if I want to make a video on it. Once again, adding lights, and then I'll add the floors. So you see how I added 2 ceilings on the top. One of them is because I want the roof to be white, and then one of them I want the ceiling. So from the inside looking up, I want it to have the stone texture, but from the up looking down, I want it to have the white texture. So what I did was I added 2 layers of ceiling, 2 layers of roof, and so it looks like it has the stone be the top, but then once you're up top of it, you see that it is actually have white, and I think it looks cool. It works very in a lot of places, even though if you're in survival, you'd have to use 2 times the blocks. But we're not in survival, so we can try to make it look as good, nice as possible. So, just filling in the holes that I did because I was trying to build it quickly. So I think I did. Looks pretty nice. We still don't have an elevator yet, but I'll do that a little later. So now I'm just laying out where I want all the rooms to be and where I want the walls between the rooms. So this is the first floor operating room. So when I built this, I was like thinking about how do I want the actual flow of the hospital to be, and I was thinking if you're in like a car crash or something very severe, you need to be hospitalized quickly, and you might not be able to go up the water stream, up the elevator. So on the first floor we have three emergency rooms, and then on the top floor we'll have one, so that if people who are in the recovery area, they can also have a little it's called the little operating area in case something bad happens. So that's just me messing around with different ways that I can put what I want to put on. I end up just using in rods and having them stacked on top of each other, so it provides light to the patient. So if your doctor's operating on them, you have a patient, and then that line of stone across of it, I had a thinking of it being like maybe a metal built thing where it has like an X-ray. So while you're working on it, you could have like a computer that has cameras looking down, X-raying the person, or it can it can have magnets on it, so you can put your tools up there too. So this is just me just finishing off the room, putting walls on it. I ended up using a metal door this time, which I haven't used so far, but it ended up looking pretty good on it. I did have to put buttons on it, but I think it still looks really good. Once I finish this, I think that it's too full. Like it's just one solid block, the whole wall, even though the outside is. So then I just get my red out, and I just put little bricks in it, just in the middle like this, so it looks a little bit more, not just a single wall. I also add little pillars for the corners, which is pretty good. I end up coming back to it later, and I do see my mistake right there. Putting metal doors on all of them, they look pretty good, but you guys can decide that. I fix it right there, and then I decide where I want to add the elevator. I add some red because I need that good accent color. I go up, and then I add the little area where it goes. Since I dig a hole down, the water, instead of flowing out everywhere, it goes down into the hole. So we don't need bubbles, or we don't need signs. So this is also a really good way of having solid water elevators. So you can go up it, you can go down it, and it is pretty nice for a elevator. And you can do it in survival, except you can't do it super long or you'll drown. But yeah, so this is me making the what's it called, the operating room upstairs, and then I just go through and add a bunch of beds. So if you're in recovery, you can be in the hospital. So it's more like a older hospital because there's so many beds next to each other. And nowadays, it would be more old style hospital, because nowadays they'd be more spread out in separate rooms because they don't want like disease going among them. But I'm just thinking it was like an old design. It looks really good. It has a really good feel to it. I'm adding bookshelves in because I think, when you're sitting there for like possibly a couple of weeks, you want to have something to do. So I added a bunch of bookshelves so that people in the hospital can read books. Then I finished building the operating room. From what I add the walls because you don't really want people. This is also why I didn't add windows, because I don't want people looking in your operation. Like, let's say you were having an operation, like you broke your arm or something, and they had to like put it back into place, and they had to like put metal rods to keep it in space. You don't want someone like from the outside looking at you going through all the pain, having people work on you. This is where I realized that we have to have buttons on all the doors. I add buttons to them. Go down, go here. I had buttons to the outside. I decided to switch it more to the inside because that makes more sense, so that people on the outside can't just like open the door and run away, like ding dong ditch. Then I add, since I had a female villager as the what's it called, as the mayor, I decided to add a male villager because I had it in my inventory. But here we add bookshelves so that like the person at the desk keeps logs of all the emergencies, all the people who go there. It ended up being him being a butcher, and it's not really the best because I don't want like you being, you're gonna be here, you're gonna be butchered, but it's fine. I add the windows to the side, and that ends how it is. So that ends my build. So if you liked it, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment names for the mayor, and thank you.